part of your warm-up is what we call 5-minute flow. And the idea here is actually more about creativity and exploration and play than anything else. Excuse me. However, I'm going to walk you through some ideas, and if you've ever taken a yoga class and you've had positions or movements that feel really good, then consider those, incorporating those into your own flow. What we do here at the gym, what I do in my personal practice, what our coaches do, is going to be really different day to day and person to person, so don't get too attached to any one particular thing, but I will walk you through a way that you could spend a really high quality 5 minutes. So let's get started. The first thing to do is simply find table position, where we've got the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees, and what we'll do is rotate the elbow point. So I'm turning my arm bone, it's rotating at the wrist and it's rotating at the shoulder. It gives me a chance to get some blood flow into the joints of the wrist and the shoulder. Next, I'll turn the hands out side to side. And I'm going to slowly pulse from left to right. It's less about trying to stretch the wrist out and more trying to see where are the positions of restriction today. Because if you've been eating poorly, if you're dehydrated, if you've been sleeping badly, things are just not going to move as well. We'll continue this idea with the hands by turning them back to face the knees and just shifting forward and back. There's no rule about where your hands have to be relative to your knees. Closer will be a little bit easier, further out is going to be more intense. And then I'll bring the hands back to neutral. I'm going to sit my hips back towards my heels and bring my head through some long nods. I'm just trying to work my way into the back of the neck. I would generally do 15 or 20 there. And then we'll go side to side, same thing. Probably 15 or 20 repetitions. Next, let's incorporate some rocking. So I'm going to try to keep my ribs and my pelvis connected as I move here. So my hands are far out in front, my butt starts back by my heels, and I'm just going to come forward till I'm leaning over my shoulders and then pulling back. If you're familiar with up dog from yoga, that's not where I'm going. That would be more like sinking my hips forward. And I'm actually going to try to keep my abs engaged so that my hips stay in line with my shoulders here. And then I'll come back to neutral and go into some cycles of cat and cow. Shoulders back, lift chest, look up and lift the tail. And then curl up, pushing everything into the ground and belly into ribs. Again, open up and curl up. Maybe 4 or 5 of those. And then next, taking the hands a little bit wider, we can shimmy the hips left and right, almost like we're trying to wag our tail. And then we can walk the hands over to one side and continue to rock forward and back. For me, this creates some tension and compression on the sides of the body that feels pretty delightful today. And then over to the other side. And if something feels sketchy, then don't go there. You're better off playing it safe as you work through these positions and these ideas. Next up, we're just going to go into a lunge stretch or an instep stretch. So I'm going to squeeze my glutes and push my hips down to the floor. And then I'll pull back till I bring my left leg almost straight. And then I'll come forward, squeeze the glutes, push down, and then pull myself back. I'll hang out in this back position for a moment and move my foot around. Flex the toe, pull it back. Move it in some circles. And then come forward and very simply switch legs. Right foot forward, squeeze the glutes, push the hips to the ground. Come on back, pull towards a straight right leg. And if your knee doesn't want to go straight, please don't force it. The feedback that you get from the joint, from the muscles, is really important to pay attention to. That's actually one of the reasons why we do the flow at the beginning of the workout, so that we can see how things are feeling. If you're feeling pretty warm when you get started with this, you can go faster. I'm going pretty slow today. It's just kind of one of those days. It happens to be a rainy day in Salt Lake City. And then the last thing that I'd like to do is get into some twists. There's a number of ways we can do this. I'm going to show you one of my favorites, which is simply keeping the hands on the ground. I'll bring one hand in towards center line. It's my right hand in this particular case. And then I'm going to rotate and reach my left arm up. And if that feels pretty good, I can take that hand behind my back, pull the shoulder back, lift the chest, and hold for a count of 3 or 4. Reach the arm back up, come down and switch. Press the hand, rotate, lift, reach, retract if it feels good, hold for a few moments, and then come back up. And then we can also take a deeper version of that, very simply bringing that elbow to the ground, twist, reach, retract, and hold for a few, finishing on the opposite side. And there you go. Play with those ideas, take that out to 5 minutes, and let me know how it goes.